just double checking some information here.
Hmm?
Wanted is currently teamless.
Yes, yes, yes. No team, no team.
Self-refamiliar, which is strange because I'm pretty sure he is desired. As we kick off our next qualifying match here, it's going to be another best of 5 on 2,000 atmospheres. LE, but of course in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in top right-hand corner, we have a red Terran player coming out from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing Invictus Gaming, IG, the oldest of the old guard, the first generation of Chinese StarCraft 2 pros. We have IG XY.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Chinese Zerg player himself. He is blue, representing himself, but he is quite wanted. Very fitting with the map. Very fitting. Very fitting.
It really is. Was that from the 2000s?
I think so. Maybe before.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. It's fine.
Close enough. Everything that happened before like 2008 is happening in the same year.
Exactly. But I'm excited to finally cast Wanted again. As you were saying, we have casted him in the past, but it's been a while. You know, typically it's only during the DreamHack seasons. So I wonder if he's adapted to anything. I think the last time we casted him, the lurker meta wasn't as prevalent. So if we end up in the late game, maybe he'll have a little bit better success with that.
Yeah, here's definitely hoping. But if I know anything about XY, I know that he is one of the players who definitely doesn't want to, the game to go that distance. It's something about the Chinese Terran players, like Time Coffee XY, and there's one more I'm forgetting, but the name will come back to me eventually. They're all pretty aggressive, obviously on different varying degrees of aggression, but it's mostly because none of them enjoy the late game.
Yeah, we'll see if we get there, especially because I don't know why, but when I think of XY, I think mech. I don't know if maybe I'm misremembering something, but I hope that is not the case.
You might be thinking, maybe. I'm trying to think if there's like a player with a name similar to XY. I know that Blue Ming, another Chinese Terran player, was one of the players who we took note of because of how prevalent because of how much he enjoyed playing mech, but yeah, I'm not sure if XY really showed that off too much. Speaking of XY though, 3cc before starport.
Yeah, going for a very macro econ-oriented build here, as he is setting himself up. Meanwhile, I do enjoy that Wanted did sneak in behind the main base with his Overlord to make sure he dips in, gets that scout, and sees everything.
Yeah, pretty soon he's gonna dip in. And once he sees that the starport was a little bit late, that it is a bit of an earlier CC, he may be feeling relieved for the early game, but he also knows that a Terran player who can get saturated on 3 bases early on is a Terran player who's going to stop at nothing to throw army his way.
Yeah, and this is also why this kind of positioning is so crucial. Just because if there was a fusion core here, which there isn't, but if there was, it's typically behind the mineral line, and that's exactly where the Overlord is. So he will be able to confirm exactly what is coming out of this starport.
Which is actually gonna be a Banshee. Alrighty then, alright. So keep our eyes peeled to see if there is gonna be an armory or not, as Cloak is not being researched.
Yeah, pretty interesting that XY hasn't overcommitted into those Banshees without Cloak. Upon seeing this, it's possible that Wanted may think that the fusion core is somewhere else. But again, he dives in and he's gonna just make sure he sees everything that there is to see in the main.
Confirms the Marines, confirms that the factory is moving away and building a different add-on, confirms that there is a 3rd CC, and confirms that there is an uncloaked Banshee.
Yeah. Wanted was able to see everything he needs to, and back at home he just has to chill, drone up, throw down some spores in time, or because there is no cloak, he may not even need spores. If he's confident in his queen positioning, then he can kind of cut some corners and save some drones that way.
Yeah, and he's pretty dang confident, I gotta say so myself. It did get his 4 crawls in the end, but he delayed a little bit. First, he wants to get the lair out. First, he wants to get the Baneling nest out.
Oh yeah.
He knows he's safe.
And we have confirmation it is going to be, in fact, Biostim is on the way, as well as the rest of the Raxes. So we're going to be getting that classic Bio, or I guess I'm assuming Biomech. I'm sorry, Biotank. But we'll see, as there is a tech lab on the way on that factory.
Yeah, it could always be. He could always still switch your minds, I suppose. But it should be Biotank coming out, as I feel like Wanted just wants to go for a Bling Bane into Hive composition here. 2 Evo Chambers are being thrown down. I'm keeping my eye on the main base to see if he, takes an additional macro hatchery or not. But yeah, for now he's not making any big tech commitments.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because he scouted. Yeah, because he scouted that there was a faster TC, he can be greedy. He can go for double Evo chambers. He can throw down the hydrogen. He knows that there shouldn't be like an early push coming. So he can invest in all this tech and not really be punished for it. Now that he's done this though, he does have to focus on his army. His drone count is at a reasonable amount. 68 drones is kind of what you want before ensuring that you have, a decent army to make sure that you don't just fall over to a drop.
Or an uncloaked Banshee, which has already taken a bit of a bruising. It seems like it was able to kill a couple of drones, but not much else behind that. I believe the Banshee sees the double Evo chamber.
Oh, yeah, it did. Did confirm all of that. Did not see the Hydrogen though, so he's a little bit in the dark about whether or not this is going to be Hydras or Mutas. Or, any tech structure at all, actually.
That is definitely unfortunate for him. XY sending out a bit of a double drop, and the main goal of this double drop is to clear up creep. If you can slow down the economy, if you can take out drones, if you can shave off the link count, that's nice too. But yeah, for now he is just setting up positions to siege up his tanks and fight in later on.
Yeah, so far he's been denying some creep. He hasn't been using any scans, which is a little bit interesting. He's just been taking down like active tumors whenever he can.
Yeah, he's not interested in reducing the creep, just preventing it from spreading even further.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Wanted taking up even further, throwing down the infestation pit and throwing down, oh my god, not just the Lurker Den, but also a Spire?
He wants to keep his options open. I mean, you've said it, like, he knows that XY is going to be a bit more passive this game, so he might as well take advantage of that while he can.
Yeah, this is pretty greedy, to be honest. But to be fair, like, I mean, why not, right? He's up to 80 drones already. He's taking a 4th base, taking a 5th base as well. And XY has still been chilling at home. Like, sure, he's trying to push out with a handful of drops, but like, Wanted doesn't have to worry about this.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that XY hasn't gone for any sort of timing just yet. He's just setting up his tanks back at home, and
look at the creep as well.
Double drop, exactly.
Like, am I watching Piglet in a TVP right now? Like, XY is being incredibly passive.
Maybe he thinks it's a TVP.
Made those cells guarded up. Ooh.
Nice snipes on the Banelings, but in the end he recognizes that it is a little bit too much to deal with. He's sending up another drop towards the north. This is really XY's MO. Other than maybe time, when it comes to the Chinese region, he is the master of multi-prong.
Yeah, and I love this because he is punishing Wanted's green right now. Wanted doesn't have an army. Ooh, Banelings do crash in towards the bottom right, but he will end up losing this hatchery. Look at the army supplies right now. Not the overall supplies, army supplies. Like, Wanted just doesn't, he was just far too greedy droning up.
104 drones.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That feels a little excessive to me. Like, even if Wanted would have maxed out right now, he's just gonna be so far behind.
Exactly. Like, when I was talking, if you remember, I mentioned when he hit 80 drones, I was like, yeah, this is where you stop droning and you just make army. He made 20 more drones after that, mate.
He's like, I need more. Because he knows that he's gonna lose the drones, so he might as well make sure that he's safe over there. Very nice hot pickup right at the end, and the Hydras. Just barely not enough of them to take out the medevac full of units.
Yeah,
they are going to clean this up though.
Yeah, they will be able to clean up the majority of this. But yo, he's going to try and focus down the hatchery. Can he get it? Up! Ooh.
Was he attacking the Overseer instead?
But we don't want to talk about it. There was a moment there where the Marines were attacking the overseas. But they weren't A move. They weren't A move.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And yeah, we were mentioning how even if Wanted would have maxed out, he would be far behind in the army supply.
Mate.
XY is actually maxed out now, and
Mate,
that's a second Spire and a creative Spire being thrown now.
I'm really not too fond of this for Wanted. So what Wanted's doing right now is he is taking up to switch into Broodlords, but he hasn't even like maxed out with an army with lurkers yet, and he doesn't even have his lurker upgrades. Like he is being so greedy. I don't want him to get away with it, but we'll see if he will. As that was a kill, not a cancel.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely feels like Wanted's priorities are a little bit mixed up right now. But if he can get away with this, you know, if he is able to send the Tide of Terran that XY is throwing his way, he will have a massive counterattack surprise. But that's a pretty massive if.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's just like because of all this and because he's been neglecting said army, like XY's been able to accomplish a lot more than he otherwise should have, taking down this base, clearing up all of this creep. Thankfully, Wanted hasn't lost too many of his drones. Oh my god, the Vipers! Oh.
Trying to find an angle to yoink those tanks. Not quite able to find one. Hot pickup right at the end, but the Parabomb is absolutely real, and so are the blinding clouds.
Wow, and just like that, Wanted shuts down that army. Going to be denying any kind of base here towards the top left-hand side of that. There was none. Instead, he's able to catch another group of reinforcements.
Which is always nice. You know, the momentum has shifted to Wanted's way. He does have seismic spines, so he will have the range advantage when it comes to the lurkers.
Exactly, he's going to be able to take down some of these missile targets. Meanwhile, XY looking to try and expand towards the bottom right, but Banelings are ready and waiting for him, so he will be able to get a scout off.
These tanks, man. Finally, they see it. He's able to clean that up, but I thought he was losing a couple of forces over here, but no, he is doing a decent job with these ghosts. That's a bit of an awkward time to cancel that base.
Oh god, the Banelings are going to be rolling on in. They will be able to force another delay, at least on one of the CCs. One of many, by the way. That's a lot. Oh my god, that's a lot of CCs.
Not all of them are going to be mining. Decent snipes.
Yeah, he was able to get a handful of those lurkers quickly checking. He got 3 lurkers in total. Honestly, great pickoffs. But he is set up to switch into Broodlord Infestor. Interesting. There are definitely some Zerg players that would love to stay on like Lingbane, Lurker, Viper a little bit longer. But Wanted, he's just a teching god, mate.
Yeah. He might actually be able to get away with this.
Yeah. God, it's just crazy to see because Wanted was just he was mass expanding. Like his creep spread is literally all over the place. It's literally touching the bases of XY right now. Wanted is looking a little bit vulnerable, but like I think because of all this creep, like XY, he doesn't want to move out. Like, it's scary, you know. He's terrified.
He pretty much just can't at this point. We have a Nidus, by the way, just in case Wanted needs an even quicker way to reinforce his main army.
Yeah, in case he wants to send his Broodlords across the map, Kappa. Like what?
Yeah.
No, but he does have that available. Yo's Overseers is going into the main.
And you're about to burst out a couple of Niduses, I was going to say, but none of these ghosts have anything to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like the Overseers are going to be dealt with, but the Ghosts are out of position. So honestly, this tank line is incredibly exposed. Wanted can't see what we see, but if he could, he would dive on this, mate.
Yeah, but he can't. Which is sad.
There we go. The Ghosts do end up rotating around here towards said tanks. So now, okay, he's well defended. As we're just waiting a little bit longer for those Broodlords.
And you were talking about XY reminding you of a mech player for some reason, Light. And, well, he's getting +3 vehicle weapons now, and he's focusing a lot on just tanks and ghosts for the time being.
Ooh. Meanwhile, the Fungal does connect with those ghosts. Bailey's connecting as well. There's still a pretty large amount of these ghosts, and, god, it looks like Wanted does get forced back.
All he needs
one Fungal!
He's gonna snipe a couple of these Lords, but it is not enough to take them out. The Fungals forcing to cancel every single time. The Overseers have been dealt with, so you know, XY might be able to deal with the Brute Lords now, but Yeah, he's gonna forfeit his entire main base.
Mate, Wanted had an amazing fight. They're landing the juiciest fungal on top of every single one of those ghosts, completely shutting down XY, and now here in the production in the main base, there's just so much going down.
That's why you don't want to clump him up.
Oh my god.
And with the loss of all these production facilities, XY is in a little bit of trouble. He can't always rebuild them, and he, isn't mining from this base, so it doesn't really matter that much that he's not mining from it anymore.
Yeah,
but still.
Yeah, I mean, this area is just that much more vulnerable to another Overseer attack, to another Nidus as well. Meanwhile, quickly checking the units here, one thing that I'm a little bit concerned by... Okay, never mind, they're just hiding underneath. We do have 6 Infestors on the map. Okay, they're going to be crucial here against these ghosts.
Yeah, who shoots first is pretty much going to be the question. The EMPs or the fungals?
Yeah, that's something important to take note of, is that we haven't seen any EMPs yet. So XY, he has to make sure he's on top of that, otherwise he won't be able to stop the Infestors.
It's so funny to imagine EMP working on Zerg units as they are biological, but yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, it is. Meanwhile, the Broodlords are going to be able to take out the freshest mining base of XY. At the same time, he's going for a bit of a base trade, looking to take out the hatchery in the top left.
And his priority right now is to try to draw the main army of Zerg back home, but Wanted is pretty well aware that it's going to be way too late if you were to... if you were to send those Broodlords back home. They are very, very slow units.
Yeah, so everything else comes back home instead. The Lurkers, the Ling Bane. The Infestors stay across the map to help keep these Broodlords safe. Oh, have to be careful not to overextend.
Yeah, almost losing a little bit there. Good EMP.
Yeah, decent EMP. Meanwhile, it looks like he's going to be able to get up this ramp. There are only 3 Lurkers, not enough to stop this.
Well, okay, I was gonna say there is enough if there's no detection, but XY scans. Doesn't quite get the snipes off, now he does.
Yeah, it's gonna be forcing himself into the natural, into the main base, into the heart of the Zerg production. Meanwhile, the Broodlords keep on pushing forward, but they are slow, it's taking them quite some time to break through and get into the main.
Do we have an anti-air here? Okay, we got a queen.
I thought you were talking about the Terran. There is no anti-air for the Terran either. Okay, there's the Thor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, but the starport did get taken out earlier on, didn't it? So yeah, it makes sense why he's not getting Vikings over here.
Yeah, exactly.
So do whatever they can.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do see another base being taken down here. Quickly looking at the upgrades, and we do not have neural. Okay, we do have neural power set actually. That's honestly a pretty big game changer.
Yeah, neural a couple of these stores, and that's it. Neural a couple of these ghosts, nuke the Terran army. There are no nukes actually, but still.
Yeah, exactly. I'm afraid of these A moves, by the way. Like, the Infestors are so crucial, and we did end up losing one of them earlier. Like, they cannot go down right now.
Yeah, but XY is running out of map to kite back to. I still want to say he has the army advantage. It's just he can never really get his army in position to fight what Wanted has.
Yeah, the main base is going to go down here. It is going to be taken over by the Zerg player, but at the same time, Wanted is running out of bases. He only has these 2 left, or these 3 even.
Yeah, and honestly, he doesn't really have that much of a bank on him.
Yeah, like, slowly but surely, XY, like, I know this has been a little bit chaotic, but XY, he is encroaching upon the final bases of Wanted. Like, Wanted, he needs to come back home.
Slowly but surely, he's beginning to. Tech is getting taken out right now of Wanted. Not going to be able to reproduce those lurkers for a long, long time. And XY is continuing for his base trade, lifting up and sending a couple of buildings to whatever a safe location is for him right now.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, all the drones do get evacuated, so it looks like Wanted has given up on the bottom right. He's going to try and migrate over into the main bases of XY. At the same time, Broodlord is still going unhindered. I guess this will just come down to a big engagement here, whether or not the Thor Ghost Army can deal with the Broodlord Infestor.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, it's all going to come to a head soon here as XY is turning around. He is looking to come all the way back home.
We're placing our supply blocked, and it's just gonna come down to one fight.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit scared because I don't know how many scans we have here, especially because a bunch of the buildings are floating. Oh, the EMPs!
Oh! the self EMP on a couple of those ghosts, but thankfully for XY, he was able to dodge the majority of that EMP.
Yeah, now there are only 4 infestors left. Exactly, there are only 4 left here. 4 wanted. He has to make them count. He lands a fungal on every single ghost.
And it does cancel a lot of the snipes. A couple of EMPs do go down, but XY has lost his answer to the Brute Lords. This should be a wanted victory.
Wow, once again, the fungals who are absolutely insane. XY loses everything here.
In the blink of an eye, I don't fault him for needing a second to process that. GG, wanted, big team.
GG, well played. I love the self EMP. We almost got it. We almost got it with the neural. Quist missed a lot of those ghosts, but unfortunately we noticed it a couple of times. I think you even pointed it out before that big engagement. XY's ghost control, or his ghost positioning specifically, was lacking a little bit, and he did leave himself very vulnerable to fungals.
Yeah, multiple different times. That's kind of the thing about ghosts, is that you can't be gung-ho with them, so to speak. You know, they are lore-wise meant to be meant to be stealth units, and that's how you gotta approach them in game as well.
Oh yeah,
you gotta come in and flank with them. You know, you gotta keep them a little bit hidden, not so hidden that your opponent doesn't know that they're there, but hidden enough.
Yeah, GG. That's crazy that game 1 went all the way there to the late game. I'm trying to think, was it necessary for XY to instigate the base trade? I guess if he didn't feel confident in like engaging the army and like having that dynamic, then sure. But like he had to fight the army at some point, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, I think he was always planning to do that in the end. I think that was kind of his plan, to instigate the base trade, and then after dealing with the economy, go and fight the army, because he traded officially before that. But yeah, he wasn't expecting to get fungled in the blink of an eye, just as he was about to snipe every single Brute Lord. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our best of 5 qualifying match here on Berliningrad. LE, we're of course in the top left-hand corner map, spreading all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we have a red Terran player coming out from the land of China. He is an old boy. He is going to be representing Invictus Gaming IG SC2. He is XY.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the Chinese Zerg player himself, representing himself, currently up 1-0 in this best of 5 series. It is Wanted.
It's like Daunted, but with a W.
And I'm really curious to see how Wanted is going to play out a map like Berlingrad. Because his style on 2K atmospheres was... like, Greedy doesn't even cover it.
Yeah.
We saw him go up to 104 drones and almost die because of it. Like,
but only almost. So
yeah.
that reinforces in his head that he should be more greedy.
Well, like, the almost comes into the fact that it was 2,000 atmospheres, you know? Like, do it on a larger map, and sure, maybe you can get away with it. But on a map like this, there's no way. Like, Wanted will have to adapt and play a little bit differently, I would assume.
Yeah, we're making a lot of assumptions here, but we'll see if they do end up coming to fruition.
Yeah, so... go on.
As this time, XY doesn't skip his Reaper.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, then I guess as I say, Wanted should be, should calm down a little bit when it comes to his greed, especially on this map. What would you like to see XY do differently here? Because I think we were both a little bit shocked by how overall passive he was.
What would I like to see from XY? BCs, but I'm guessing your question was more geared towards what should XY do to win, and less of what I have deep down in my desires. But yeah, I think just being more active on the map. He was trying to go across the map with his Banshee and with his Hellions, but it took him a long time before he actually sent them out, and before he was actually harassing before he was actually harassing Wanted. So yeah, I would say either do that, but more, or don't do that.
Yeah, I think I was most shocked by because we even kind of pointed it out when it was happening when he did have like a drop on the map earlier on. Like he was like running around and kind of killing, you know, creep tumors, but like he wasn't scanning, he wasn't being very active to keep it at bay, as active as players usually are, and like it did get out of control. Like at a certain point, Wanted essentially had the entire map covered in creep. I mean, props to Wanted for his insane creep spread, but at the same time, it felt like XY wasn't doing much to stop it.
Yeah, definitely had a lot to be desired. But for now, we're just going to be seeing another 3CC before Starport and another 3-hatch.
Yeah, we are seeing that 3CC before Starport. Once again, just like the previous game, he is going for a Banshee first without Cloak. So very reminiscent of game number 1. Wanted, he dips in and he will confirm all of this. Unfortunately, because of the angle, he won't quite see the entire main base, so he may think it is a BC, especially because there is no Cloak. Regardless, he will be preparing for something Starport related, nonetheless.
I don't know if he's going to fall for it twice, though. I mean, he didn't fall for it the first time, so if he didn't, then I don't know if he's gonna fall for it ever.
Oh god. So yeah, he will be preparing back at home. Meanwhile, we do have a pretty committed Hellion. Ooh, tried to go for a run by, but the Hellion's just stopping for now.
Yeah, the Zerglings with their body blocking is enough to prevent these Hellions from moving on forward, and you know, it's quite a shame that that's how it ended up. These drones are now lining up. They're so juicy, but 2 Hellions ain't gonna cut it. 3 drones go down. And that's not a lot, considering that he invested in 6 Hellions. He's given up his map control as well. Now Wanted, he can creep to his heart's content.
Yeah, like that felt like desperation, the way that he was controlling his Hellions there. I don't know if you saw, but like his Hellions ran into a wall of Lings, and he just kept trying to force his way through. And it's like, well, when you see Lings there, typically you back off, right? Because that yeah, because you expect your opponent to have enough to defend, but he was very, very adamant about getting damage done, and unfortunately, it didn't pay off.
Really didn't. This Banshee not getting much damage done either. It does have Cloak, so the Queens can take it out without any assistance.
Yeah, so XY, he does relinquish his map control for the time being, so Creep Thread can now go on unhindered, as you were saying, Yaku. And meanwhile, back at home, once again, it is going to be Bio. We do see Stim on the way, so no additional factories here at all. I don't know if we'll see it at all this series. Maybe once.
Yeah. Maybe on Glittering Ashes, if that's the map that we see. And yeah, we were kind of alluding to it earlier on. Wanted's creep spread was very insane, 2,000 atmospheres, but Leningrad, it doesn't take much to cross. It's a very small map, it doesn't really take much to cross the halfway point, and we see that happening already.
Yeah, we do. But once again, XY pushing out with a relatively large force. He has a couple of Hellions that he was able to remake. We do have the Marines moving forward as well, catching a bunch of Overseers.
Very nicely done here. This actually can supply block Wanted, but not if he backs away with them. And this is a little bit before Wanted really has a defensive force. Yeah, he may be able to type the hatch. He may be able... No! The transducer's way too good here for XY. And so he... Oh, for Wanted, sorry. And so he shuts down this harass there without too much difficulty.
Yeah.
But it did look shaky.
Exactly, that was a scary moment because Wanted just didn't have Banelings ready for this. At the same time, Banshee goes into the main base, gets 2 more drone kills. The Queens were brought from the main to defend at that 3rd base, at that 4th base, so Banshee getting even more damage done.
Yeah, finds a very good angle where the Spore Crawler can't actually attack, and Wanted being very hesitant to retreat with his drones, so he needs 6 of them.
Yeah, and honestly, mate, that's a lot of drone damage. Meanwhile, Baneling Speed does finish up, and it looks like he will be able to chase all of this back. Up, the target fire!
Yeah, he's fighting off creep as well. The Banelings just want to connect. But they aren't really able to do so. Tank is now available for XY.
Exactly, and XY is not stopping. Again, I love the chase of pace here that XY is going for. Meanwhile, Wanted did go for a double Evo chamber, did already go for an infestation pit, but if I'm not mistaken, he did not go for a Hydroden. So it seems as if he's setting up to go Ling Bane straight into a Hive, potentially straight into Ultras. He has to deal with this first.
We'll complement his melee upgrades he's going for right now, but as you said, he has to survive long enough to get to that point. He has to mine enough minerals and gas to get to that point. He's working on the 5th base. XY still on 3 bases.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see what the purpose of this infestation pit is, because nothing has really come of it yet. We don't see a Hive, we don't see pathogen glands to go into infestors, which could be another avenue here for Wanted. It's just kind of sitting there a little bit idle. To be fair, there are other concerns at the moment. You know, the army waiting outside his 4th.
Yeah, he did have to spend his money elsewhere for the time being. Very nice setup over here right outside the 4th base location. Should be able to get at least a delay or a lift up on it.
Yeah, we'll see, because it is within Sensor Tower range. At the same time, XY tries to push in. Oh, overextending a little bit here, but he is off creep, and it looks like he'll be able to just barely pick up, but not without losing his tank.
Oh, he keeps it alive for now as Wanted to start to overwhelm the Terran forces with his Ling Bane. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any anti-air, so wasn't really able to punish the medevacs as they're lifted up. We do have a Hive on the way right now.
Yeah, a little bit delayed, but again, this does kind of scream Ultras to us. We'll see if he does end up committing there. At the same time, target fire!
Target firing's been looking absolutely perfect so far from XY. Even able to force a cancel on that 6th base.
Yeah, meanwhile here at the 5th, we do see the drops being deterred for a little bit, but mate, XY is starting to pull Wanted apart. Wanted has those too many banelings.
A lot of wasted gas. Marines, they do have +2 weapons, by the way, so they are trading a lot more efficiently than the 1-1 Ling Bane of Wanted.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit too much. It looks like finally this will be cleaned up. A couple more banelings roll in, but it's not going to be enough. Drones are falling left and right.
This is really starting to be overwhelming right now for the Terran player. XY is really starting to cripple the economy of Wanted.
Yeah, exactly. The base even goes down here towards the right. The 4th goes down, and like, where was this XY in game 1, mate? That's what I want to know.
It was, you know, just warming up.
Oh my god, I don't know if he was asleep at the wheel in game 1, but here in game 2, he is dropping all over the place. There's still here a force towards the north, towards the south, another bit of a marine run by, not even a medevac, by the way, just running on in towards that 5th, meeting up with the medevacs that were in the main.
I suppose you can't get away with that on Berlingrad, as the upgrades have finally evened up right now for Wanted. Some even better target firing coming out, canceling every single baneling, and you called it light. Ultra Cavern is on the way.
Yeah, but we'll see if it's too little too late. Wanted just doesn't really have an economy behind this. He has 81 drones, which is nice, but again, he needs more bases. He needs to get them up and running.
Which he just isn't quite able to do. XY double expanding behind all of this, by the way, and these run-bys are doing a pretty good job of keeping XY distracted a little. Ooh, nice kill.
Yeah, beautifully done there. Meanwhile, ghosts are now coming out, so he already has an answer to Ultras anyway with those ghosts, with those snipes. Meanwhile, Hydrogen gets turned down, so maybe thinking about potentially going into Lurkers. Like, kind of an awkward tech switch here, but yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
He just needs air, anti-air. That's all he needs.
Alright, but here we go.
Being chased back, yep.
Yeah, XY once again reinforcing this push. Does force his Marauders forward, ready for the Ling Bane.
But what about the Ling Bane in the back line? The back line that doesn't exist anymore. Never mind. Want to pull back with all of his forces. Yeah,
he goes for a run-by instead, and he is going to get on top of a lot of these tanks. Like, this run-by, there's a lot of potential here to deal some damage.
Not if he wastes his baneling still. Like so. Slowly but surely, he's equalizing the army count, and a couple of banelings do connect for the first time, it feels like.
Yeah, the Lings will be able to overwhelm everything here at this fresh base. So SCVs are finally going down, but Wanted just lost the hatchery. That's the thing, right? Like, he's been losing bases, he's been losing workers. Another snipe here as the ghost is on the ledge. Oh my god.
Not even sniping. It's just using his auto attack.
Oh, meanwhile, the tanks were left alone.
Yeah, really nice of Wanted to be able to cut the reinforcements bit by bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just keeping up with all of these run-bys. After all said and done, both players are honestly pretty battered and pretty bruised. I don't think we ever got to see any of the ultras, unfortunately. It looks like Wanted does indeed want to go into lurkers. Hydras are on the way, which this could work a little bit better. But, okay, both players have a little bit of time to breathe now.
Yeah, we're reset on everything. We're just, yeah, getting back on track with the tempo of this game.
Boy, exactly. Wanted just securing his side of the map, double expanding at the moment, trying to get these bases up and running so he can mine a little bit more efficiently. That's the other scary thing about Berlingrad, is that there aren't very many bases at all. So, like, you do start getting like mined out quite quickly. So he has to be aware of that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna assume that he is, as he is trying to replace his bases, but he's still getting caught out quite a bit by these drops. I do appreciate that he's got Hydralisk now, though, but they just aren't in position to really punish the medevacs as Spy looks in.
Yeah, I mean, again, Hydras aren't really what you want. Lurker Den is on the way, but still quite a ways off. Meanwhile, XY has forced himself forward over here, and yeah, he's just gonna get a base for free. Oh, where is he?
Or is he? Yeah, he is. Or is he? Yeah, he is.
Oh.
The target firing coming out of XY has been insane so far tonight. Like,
oh yeah, it's been beautiful, mate. Bailing after bailing, being focused down. Another drop here towards the 12 o'clock position. Second hatchery goes down.
And I'm surprised that Wanted hasn't starved to death yet.
I mean, that's what's happening essentially. He is starving to death. You can see the disparity in supplies slowly get wider and wider. Unless XY has like a horrible trade where maybe he's not looking, or mainly a massive bailing connection happens, like XY is looking primed to tie up the series.
Especially if he continues to keep this up despite the Hydra count. Wanted, XY just keeps on getting away with these drops completely unhindered.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Lurker Den has finished up. There come the first Lurker upgrades. Unfortunately, we still don't have any Lurkers yet. Once they come out, I do think that Wanted can start stabilizing a little bit more. As siege units, they do provide a little bit of a better defensive advantage, but we just don't see that yet.
Yeah, he's really hesitant to morph any of his Hydralisks into Lurkers. One, because he's broke, but also two, because that's his only anti-air.
Yeah. I mean, again, there we go. Lurkers, our first wave of Lurkers are on the way. Like, I do like the way that Wanted's army is being rounded out. Honestly, it's pretty good. He just needs time, and he just needs resources, and just again, XY has just been such a different player this game. It's been great to see him adapt.
Yeah, Wanted needs a lot of things, but unfortunately, they are all seeded to the next phase of the tournament.
As we do see 6 Vipers coming out here again. That's another way to really help round all of this out. But before that happens, Ghosts are coming in. Oh, but the Lurkers are here to meet them.
Yeah, even without adaptive talents, those Seismic Spine range upgrades are helping keep the Bioforce at bay right now.
Oh my god.
Bio does clean out the Lings, even able to take out the spawning pool.
Yeah, exactly. The pool goes down. It was weakened earlier. Could even try and focus on the Hydra. He's actually trying to go for it.
But isn't quite able to get it.
Yeah, it does get it down to half HP, so we'll see if another drop is able to make that happen. Meanwhile, the Ghosts are getting on top of a lot of these Zergers, but the Bailings are waiting for them.
Those were some fantastic connections, but I feel like those were connections that XY could definitely afford to sustain. I mean, he still has a couple of Ghosts alive, and more importantly, he still has a Siege Line alive. But here come the Vipers! Here come the Yoinks! Where are the EMPs?
Yeah, the EMPs are not there. The Yoinks are. Instead, 3 Ghosts get taken out. Only a single Ghost remaining. Oh my god, the Yoinks, they just don't stop. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately for XY, there's not quite as much DPS here as we would like it to have. So, yeah, these some of these tanks are still surviving. And you mentioned earlier on about how in Berlingrad there are just fewer bases, so Wanted was starting to really mine out on this side. But on the flip side, XY just hasn't been taking as many bases on his side of the map as he perhaps could.
You're not wrong. The bottom left-hand bases have not been taken yet. There's been no engagement there at all. Meanwhile, Vipers have regen their energy. Oh my god, more Ducks! Where are the EMPs?
Well, I mean, it's TvZ, so, you know, isn't that exclusively for TVP?
That will explain why he didn't EMP those Infestors last game. He raised a good point there, Yaku. He raised a good point, Yaku. Meanwhile, the hatchery does eventually go down. I do hope that eventually at some point Wanted will expand towards the bottom left. The Fungal! Misses.
And not quite able to land. That's a lot of tanks coming out, Light.
That's that's a lot of tanks, mate. Snipes coming in left and right. Wanted. I don't think he should really stay here, but he goes for another Fungal.
Yeah, the blinding clouds are really shutting down the tanks. Only one of them effectively firing at the moment, and it can just get yoinked if need be. That's a lot of losses on the side of Wanted, though. A lot more than I thought he would sustain. GG. XY takes that fight and takes the game.
GG. Despite Wanted being up in supply at the start of that fight, I really think he should have just given up that position. It wasn't necessary. He didn't even have a base there at the time. Like, he had lost it already. There were 2 fresh bases that he could have tried to take towards the bottom left, but he felt it necessary to hold at that position. But
for some reason.
Yeah, and you pointed out there were like 12 tanks waiting on the low ground, and he just ran into them. Oh my god.
Yep. Honestly, I thought that he might have had it with all those blinding clouds, but yeah, I wasn't looking at the tanks that were behind those tanks, and neither was Wanted. So in the end, we do have a tied up series 1-1 in this best of 5, and I'm glad to see that there is a lot of back and forth in this lower bracket qualifier. You know, at least we do have a pretty big fight for who is going to qualify.
Yeah, it's great to see XY potentially, you know, warming up in game 1, kind of testing the waters and, you know, just kind of stretching in a way. And here in game 2, we saw what that was all for. Yeah, he was literally just pulling apart Wanted. There were drops just all over the place that game, constantly getting damage done. Maybe not that many drone kills, but just constantly sniping hatcheries.
Yeah, which arguably is even better. You kill the mining potential and you kill the production.
That was insane.
And now we're gonna get ready for game number 3.
We are, as the lobby has been made. We're just gonna be setting up here, and it looks like, wow, game 3 is gonna be on Curious Minds.
Another very, very short map coming down here. Alright then.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what the vetoes were. I mean, I imagine the goal-based maps, right? That's typically what we see vetoed.
We'll see. I feel it in my bones that Blackburn is going to be, if we get to that point, it's going to be played.
I'd like to see it, to be honest. I'd like to. We haven't seen it today, right? Or at least in this broadcast.
Not in China, yeah. You don't have it over there.
Oh. Alright, well, we'll see how things turn out here in game number 3. Are we going to see that hyper-aggressive XY again? Personally, I hope so.
Yeah. LP doesn't alternate between passive XY and aggressive XY. That, you know, some Terra players, you know, they do kind of default in that pattern. But we'll see. We shall see as we load into game number 3, which will be on Curious Minds LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Terran player coming out from the land of China. He's part of that old guard. The first generation of Invictus Gaming SC2, and he's still on Invictus Gaming IG. He is XY.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the Chinese Zerg player himself. Dropping that last game, but again, it is still a best of 5, so plenty of opportunities to come back. It is Wanted.
got a very quick update on the bracket here. In the lower bracket, it looks like Silky has been able to defeat Jadong Oz, otherwise known as Jolly Well Loves, otherwise known as Vinny, otherwise known as Sad Protoss, and is currently up against Rewhite in the only other qualifying match going on right now.
Yeah, which means inadvertently, congratulations to Jeshi, as he does qualify for DreamHack main event.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that.
Yeah, there you go.
I just sort of, yeah, so he will be the second player qualifying from there alongside Firefly. Return to Protoss players, man.
There you go.
Time, coffee, and a wave of Protoss.
And hopefully a Zerg, you know, we'll see, as
we get at least one.
Yeah, both Silky and Wanted are fighting for their respective races to try and make it through. We'll see if they can do so.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, at least one.
Nice balance. Yeah, we want to have a nice balance, you know, 2-2-4.
Exactly. Boy. As XY once again going across the map, going for a Reaper first, which again is pretty standard. Oh!
Oh, gets the block!
Up!
You love to see it. Well, I do anyway, fair player.
Yeah, does deny that third base. I love how he threw a mine over towards the right geyser, but then once it juked him out and still got the gas anyway, so barely survived.
I like how Wanted isn't wasting any time. He just sends another drone to the other location.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does send the drone to the location, but it's expanding. But at the same time, because of this gas geyser does keep the attention of XI here at the triangular third.
Yeah, he needs to pay attention to that to be able to cancel it. Queen being a little bit ambitious right now, and it does mean that, yep, I was waiting for that. XY just dips straight into the main base.
Yeah, once he does, he just confirms, okay, you're not going to base all in, you haven't taken any additional gases, just in case a Roach Warren was thrown down.
Yeah, just double checking here by keeping his eyes on the natural base as well, but it's like you said, he's just making sure that he's safe, he's secure. His Reaper may not be, but he is at least.
Yeah, gives his life for the cause. Specifically, he was checking behind the mineral line because for all he knows, it is a 2-base all-in. He was never able to confirm the timing of the third.
Yeah, it's one of those reactions from Zerg players where I have seen it happen a handful of times, so not that common, but it's common enough that you always have to check for it, where if their third base gets tonight, they said, alright, gloves are off. I want to be nice, but you forced my hand, I'm just going to 2-base all in you.
Yeah, it happens. I know Chase has said that specifically. He's like, yo, if this ever happens to me, I just all in them. I just go righteous.
Hell yeah.
SMH. But of course, Wanted is not that kind of player. He goes for the third base at the linear third instead. At the vertical third, I should say. And with this, we'll be slowly getting into a longer game. But again, this map being slightly bigger than Berlingrad means that Wanted will have a little bit more room to work with.
I mean, Berlingrad wasn't that short of a game either, but I think that's mostly just due to the insane trades that happened. Every time it seemed like one player was gaining an upper hand, just kind of got reset, and then XY also kind of recognized that he can't win with a straight-up push. So he slowed it down intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure we're going to see more of that throughout the series. I hope so, at least. And we'll see if XY is going to be a little bit more careful with his Hellions. Because if you remember, in Game 2, he just YOLO'd them in and didn't get much damage at all. As, this time he spots the Queens and backs off.
Nicely done. It feels like he's evolving. He's, downloading another adaptation every time he makes a mistake in the series.
He's mutating before our eyes.
He is like a Zergling.
Yeah. He actually is able to catch a couple of creep tumors here. Yo, I cannot wait to get a new map pool to get rid of this nonsense. I was looking at he's got spread creep. He's denying the creep. Oh, the creep is just not there, period.
Little angle over there. It is where we find out that every map in the next map pool has that nonsense.
Meanwhile, we were talking about it, and it isn't a rush, but we do in fact have a Roach Warren.
Yeah, and he's pretty committed to it as well, working on range weapons instead of melee weapons.
Yeah, so he does plan to go for Roach Ravager here once it does, and honestly that can work really well on Curious Minds, specifically because XY took the Triangular Third.
Yeah, which is a very nice launching pad over here for the Terran player. It's also a little bit more defensible, as he can take advantage of the high ground of the main base.
Yeah, but again, you can attack from basically all angles. That's the scary thing about it. Meanwhile, yo, Queen's getting caught out of position. Some of them even caught off creep.
Can't even transfuse right now because that's how much DPS these Hellions and these Marines have on top of them. Scans, close up a ton of creep, even kills the Overlord for good measure. But the wall is not a wall!
The wall is not a wall. Tank goes down to the natural base and he will have free reign of that mineral line as well. Forces everything back home. The second tank! Oh my god.
Will get surrounded and will get taken out as well. I kind of want to say this isn't as bad as losing all of those queens in the Overlord, but yeah, having your tank count reset, especially when you have roaches up in your face like this, yeah, it's devastating.
This is devastating, mate. Wanted, he is here. He's making nothing but roaches right now. He's content with the amount of drones he has because he has to wait for reinforcements. Okay, he chips away at those rocks for the time being. And as you said, very crucially, without tanks, can he even hold?
I definitely have my doubts, but maybe if the sort of stepping is good enough, you know, he does have Sim, he does have plenty of Marines, which aren't, you know, which aren't really the counter to roaches, but if you have enough Marines, you're gonna counter to everything.
Yeah, man with gun can be pretty good. One tank does come down from the production. The boys are being pulled, oh god!
Love the split coming out here from XY, dodging the biles left and right just before any of them land. And is XY doing this? He is! He's losing a lot of SCVs, but he's alive.
Is he alive, but is he living? Because the roaches are not stopping. Oh, the SCVs get piled down!
Idle for just a little too long over there. You know what? That's a good guy, Wanted. He saw that the SCVs were slacking on the job. He decided to discipline them for XY.
Yeah, he did, and now they'll never feel anything again.
They'll never need a break.
They'll never complain. Oh god. SCV's not like this. Meanwhile, Wanted behind this, we do see an infestation bit on the way. I would love to see infestors joining the fray, but he could also be setting himself up to go into hydras, to go into lurkers.
Yeah, always a possibility here for Wanted. The world is his oyster, and I will say that for XY, at least he was able to keep his fourth base alive. Turning into Planetary Fortress now, so while it will take a lot of time, he has the tools he needs to recover.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been a lot worse if his fourth was cancelled. As it was being built here, we saw that Wanted was attempting to pile it down, so at least XY was able to keep it alive. But yo, mate, we got the concave up.
Almost have the concave. Now we have the pseudo concave. Biles are landing, but it's not enough to kill the tank. That is surprising to me. Meanwhile, we do have a drop lord in the main base. A couple of roaches will completely disrupt the mining of XY here.
Yeah, at the same time, the main army of Wanted rotates around towards the planetary base. It looks like the planetary will fall.
Yeah, like this from XY. He's not wasting any time or any resources trying to repair that. He knows that it's forfeit, so he's just trying to regroup with whatever he can, with his SCVs, with his Marines. Everything is I'm hearing a lot of whoosh going down right now, like a lot of pained screams of Marines.
That was the sound of Biles. That was the sound of Biles connecting with the Marines, mate.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like but it honestly doesn't look like he's lost that much. He's lost enough though for Wanted to keep on moving forward. I'm not sure about the stimming forward right now. It pushes Wanted back and it does kill a lot of Ravagers, but I don't know, I feel like XY lost a few too many bio units that he didn't really need to lose.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Wanted just keeps remaxing. He's just hammering just this brick wall of XY, and the wall is crumbling, mate. The tank line is amazing, and that is what is keeping XY in this game, but as you were pointing out, the bio count, is dwindling. Fungals!
To mention this, the Fungals land, the Biles will be able to connect much easier. He doesn't even need the Biles. He just needs a concave on top of the fungal units, and Not Wanted is remax, by the way. XY still very much struggling.
Want has been maxed for a long time, mate. Whenever he loses something, he rebuilt it. Meanwhile, the boss will connect not just with the tanks, but also the Liberators.
And he just has so much right now. He doesn't even need the perfect positioning he needed earlier on. He just needs to have good enough positioning to keep this going and kill everything that XY's got.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we were talking about before. Like, taking this triangular third is so difficult. GG gets called, and Wanted takes game number 3.
Very different style coming out from him compared to Berlingrad, and one that definitely feels like he's using the map to his advantage. I mean, it's like you said, he just kept hammering down at that triangular third position and punished XY for his expansion choices.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of players, a lot of Terran players, and even Protoss players in general that are going to be very happy to see this map going, because that third is the most open third out of all the maps.
All the maps.
Yeah. Every single map has got almost a 360 like surround availability that can be attacked from.
Yeah, it's basically a 270. A 270 angle going on there. The only position you can't attack from is from the south, and that's because it's where the main base is located. But you can attack from the north, you can attack from the east, you can attack from the west.
Yeah.
You can come in from 3 different angles.
And if you do attack from like from that southern area, there's a cliff there. Like you have high ground for some reason. Oh,
and you know what? If you are able to attack from the main base of your opponent,
you also have high ground.
You also have high ground.
It's crazy.
You won the game. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would be insane, actually. I kind of want to see somebody drop into the main base and then attack from the other 3 angles, just to say, screw this third base in particular. Bringing down the Thunder, and now we're going to be continuing our best of 5 qualifying match here on Glittering Ashes. LE. We're, of course, in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming down from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing Invictus Gaming IG. We have the old boy himself. He shocked the world when we made it to the finals of DreamHack Winter, I believe. Winter of 2 years ago. Can he do it again? He is XY.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the blue Zerg player himself. He's representing himself, fighting for a Zerg player in the main event. Can he do it? It is Wanted.
Now, I'm a little bit scared, Light, as it seems like the Brazilians have woken up.
Fala galera, to everyone in the chat. I see you, Iskar. I see you, Sinistro, as well. SOS Davi. Fala, obrigado for showing up. Obrigado.
Avogado.
That's Spanish. That's not.
What?
God damn it.
Theme.
But
Pele.
He's not Brazilian. What is that? Ronaldinho. There you go. Oh god. You know, the other day I found out that Ronaldinho and Ronaldo are not the same person.
What, 2 different
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Do you know that there are 2 Ronaldos?
There are 2 Ronaldos,
that blew
mate.
my mind. That blew my mind.
It's crazy. Oh god.
Yeah, apparently one is Portuguese and one is Brazilian, but
yeah.
The part that's weird is that the Portuguese one is younger.
Because that's not confusing.
Yeah.
Oh god. See, this is why I don't watch football. All right. Like, it happens in StarCraft, but you know what? We can just make him fight it out. You know, like, where's American Silky? He's gone. He's dead.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get rid of him.
We got rid of him. And now Chinese Silky, you know, he's still competing. He's still fighting.
Yeah.
American Silky, he ain't allowed to do that no more.
Yeah, you know what? Where is foreign I almost said Dream Bunny? You know, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danish Bunny, you know.
Danish Bunny doesn't exist anymore. We got rid of him.
He's left us. Yeah. I'm still waiting for the Phoenix Bowl, where we get all of the players named Phoenix.
Oh god. But speaking of phoenixes, we are here in this game where we will not see any phoenixes, but oh, we have a hidden starport.
Yeah. Fusion core?
Fusion core?
Are we feeling a fusion core?
Are we? Otherwise, why? You know? Like, why keep it so hidden unless there was a reason to hide it?
Well, it's just to block off the Reapers. They come in for a scout, you know? We'll be able to get behind the mineral line.
We'll see. I mean, already the Overlord does get taken out, which means there will be no scouting available for Wanted. Supply blocking him for a little bit there, as the starport does finish up and show us what the purpose of the starport is.
Tech.
Let's
Being
go!
thrown down with the tech lab. You love to see it.
Goal! Oh my god, this is what we wanted, mate. You wanted it, you called it. I think it was in game 2. I was like, mate, what do you want to see? And you're like, what I want him to do and what I want to see are two different things. I want to see BCs. Mate, there you go.
And now we actually get to see it.
Uh-huh.
Will it work, though? That's a different story. Because, I mean, I couldn't have put it any better than you have, Light. What I want to see and what XY should do are usually two different things. Now he's doing what I want to see.
That's not a good thing. Let's
see if it works. Let's see if it works.
Like, that's a red flag. That's why is he doing what I'm saying? Oh god, here we go. So BC's on the way, quickly checking the vision just to make sure, yes, Wanted hasn't seen a single thing. He has no idea, so he has to prepare for everything. Spores are being thrown down just in case there is a Banshee. But, again, specifically against BCs, you need additional queens. We have 5 so far. We're about to have 7.
And yeah, this is a pretty good way to counter the BC, to say the least.
Yeah, but again, are they going to be together? Are they going to be where they need to be? And Yaku, that's an interesting lair.
It's a very interesting lair location.
The third.
Roaches are also on the way.
He's doing it!
Are getting mech this time!
I knew I wasn't making things up. I knew I've seen it before. This madman.
I knew the BC was too good to be true.
It
may
is
be getting BCs, but it's not BC Bio. It's BC Mech.
Yeah, BC into mech is the most common form of BC, and that's exactly what XY is doing. And it kind of makes sense. Glittering Ashes is a very large map. There are plenty of bases to take. You can slow things down. There are a lot of avenues of attack, so SimCity will be required. At the same time, a mass amount of Hellions going across the map. Hellbats even with the BC!
Yeah, no stealth required. No sneaking around with the BCs. XY is knocking down the door of Wanted.
I love this. He sent 2 Hellbats to go towards that third base location. Drones are going to be falling. Meanwhile, at the same time, he gets on top of the Queens. Transfuses are there, but there were only 2.
And now the Queens are just completely out of energy. They cannot transfuse, and XY doesn't even force the issue. He decides, you know what? That's a very juicy amount of drones that you've got. Oh, turn around with the Hellbats, please. Oh, he does, but it's a little bit too late. Still, though, it's just barely not enough. Anti-air right now.
One more.
The Hellbats are getting on top of the drones. Get it. Run, my puppy.
Run, puppy, run. Ah, they get away. Oh, gets one more shot off, but it just barely wasn't enough.
Yeah, but still 12 drones. That ain't bad.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It did take a lot of Hellions, but you know what? They're just Hellions. They're only minerals. At the same time, the BC does survive. He gets forced away, but we have another on the way. We have Yamato in production as well.
And these species is just going to get a lot more powerful as time goes on. Wanted realizes what kind of game XY wants to play, and he is having none of it.
Oh my god, because of the angle of these Hellions, he's forced to cancel the Nidus.
Yeah, and not only cancel Nidus, but he gets even more drone kills. Another 12, 13 even being taken out. So this delays Wanted's Roach Nidus even further.
Yeah, exactly. Nidus is being rebuilt here in between the bases. He still wants to go all in. I don't blame him, right? Wanted, he's lost so many drones this game. Quickly checking, he has lost 26 drones. He cannot recover from this, or he doesn't believe he can, as he slips in and getting ready to go for a Nidus into the main.
Yeah, he's practically all in at this point. Well, I say practically. He's just about all in. He has stopped droning completely at this point.
Yeah.
He just wants to end it, mate. He has plenty of queens here with plenty of energy, but we'll see if that's enough for him.
Yeah, we'll see if it's going to be enough here. We'll see if the Nidus gets up unscouted as the queens are being loaded up into said Nidus. Meanwhile, across the map, we are going to see Yamato finishing up. It's going to be ready for this fight.
Yeah, it's not looking up for XY right now. He is trying to go for a little bit of multi-prong, sending out a small force of roaches to distract the army of XY while queens come in from behind, but not sure if that's going to work. I mean, I'm looking at the tank line.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the tank line is looking pretty strong here. Roaches do nothing, but at the same time, in comes that Nidus, and looking at the vision, XY sees it. Oh, he teleports in!
Kenny Yamato!
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it ain't enough.
God, but that auto attack was enough. The Nidus will go down. At the same time, Road Ravager is going to try and hit this base. And yo, the tanks are not in the best position to defend the third.
They really aren't. So while I don't think Wanted's going to be able
Yamato!
to end the game in this position, he should be able to really cripple the economy of XY, at least for the time being.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Nidus finishes up, but only 2 queens go down or get out of it, which means that's the only anti-air.
And they can't transfuse.
They can't transfuse.
That was a high energy queen. The tumor trying to finish up there, but it wasn't quite enough. At the very least, Wanted is able to kill that third base. Or not even kill it. XY, he's just relocated.
Yeah, exactly. He can just float it over. It was a kill, by the way.
Oh, he did kill it. Right,
yeah. It was a kill, but you know what? The majority of the SCVs were able to survive. Wanted still hasn't resumed droning. He's still making more lings. Actually opting to go for a Spire. He intends for the game to go on.
Okay. I mean, the fight BCs with Corrupted Spiles aren't going to be enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he didn't want to, but he is forced to create these drones as well. BC's going unhindered. The majority of the queens did end up dying. A lot of them were still in those Niduses though, but again, they're just not here where they need to be.
Yeah, these BCs have absolute free reign, and the Spire is still a long ways off. It's still going to take a long time, even after that, to morph in Corruptors. I don't think Wanted even has enough resources to have enough Corruptors to deal with BCs.
Yeah, we'll find out. Looks like Corruptors are going to be on the way soon, TM, but at the moment they're not ready yet. Meanwhile, the queens, they just abandoned this location. They're like, nah, yeah, we can't do it.
Yep. They popped out and they popped back in.
They did land a creep tumor, though.
Yeah, so that provides some vision. He can continue to, Wanted, I mean, can continue to pop out a Nidus from that location and continue to spread some creep from there.
Yeah. And again, this is just a great way to buy time right now because he needs time to get those Corruptors up and running to try and be active across the map. Ling run by here at the 4th, but Planetary stands strong.
Yeah, it feels like Wanted is throwing a lot at a brick wall right now because he needs XY to break somewhere, but it's just not happening. If he stays back at home, he knows that XY is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, so yeah, he needs to stop that from happening, but it's tough.
Exactly. He does bow down one of those tanks, but again, there's just no real answer to these BCs, not yet. Meanwhile, looking at the units tab, the first wave, 12 Corruptors are coming out.
And that may be able to deal with the BCs, but what are the Corruptors going to do after that? They're not going to caustic spray down the building, they're missile turrets.
We'll see, because you know what? There are no turrets here at the 4th base. It's looking quite vulnerable, so there are kind of things for those Corruptors to get done. Also, Hive is on the way, so Wanted, he can transition into a Greater Spire, into Broodlords.
Yeah, that's definitely going to take a lot of time, though. Meanwhile, we take a look at XY's production. He has been just rounding off his mech army. It is a classic tank Thor Hellion army coming in this way, but he's very, very close to max out. So is Wanted, to be fair, but I still gotta favor XY's army.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, thankfully for Wanted, the Thors aren't here yet, and yo, he wants the BCs! Up!
And they'll be able to get them, or at least some of them. Yamatos will clean up a couple of them, and now the Thors are out, so yeah, Wanted just wants to retreat for now, regroup, lick his wounds, and go back in to hunt another one eventually.
Yeah, exactly. But 1 BC for 3 Corruptors. Okay, well worth it in the end for Wanted. Wizard goes for a little bit of an extractor trick there for a moment. And yeah, he does want to go into Greater Spire. 2nd Spire is on the way for those upgrades.
Yeah, that's really what he has to depend on right now. It's his main damage dealer.
Yeah, it really is. Meanwhile, the Corruptors are just sharking around looking for those BCs, or maybe even trying to find a way into the main base. As the BCs, are here towards the bottom right. Mate, they're pretty isolated. The Corruptors, they're looking for them.
And they will be able to get him. I was so worried when they turned around, but they didn't turn around all the way. Forces a recall. And even able to kill one of these bases. Not too bad.
Yeah, I love that the recall was here exactly where they needed to be, by the way. Like, they just dive directly on top of these Ravagers. So a great move here by XY, trading incredibly well.
And now these Corruptors are free to Caustic Spray this Planetary Fortress. It is able to out-DPS the repair rate of the SCVs, but after that, I mean, they're still vulnerable. The Thors are throwing in their high-impact payload. They're taking out a decent number of those Corruptors. BCs still being very, very
No!
useful.
The pathing! The pathing of the Corruptors! No! Right over the Thors!
Just about half of them get taken out, and the rest of them ain't too far behind.
Oh god, exactly. Unfortunately, they were making a beeline for those BCs. They were not anticipating where the Thors were. Meanwhile, Biles do connect, take down 4 of those tanks.
So that's definitely a pretty good start in the defense right now for Wanted, but it definitely feels like there's not a whole lot that can shift the Terran army, especially when it's so entrenched with the tank siege up like this.
Yeah, Wanted. Sorry, XY. He wants to keep going here. He's fully maxed out tanks, Thors, BCs, even SCVs to repair.
The full hog is coming down right now.
He's going for the surround.
For Wanted. Well, he's trying to, but he doesn't have the Vipers to utilize his units yet. He needs to wait for them.
Yeah, and waiting for them is not going to be a reality here. There's 3
The
Vipers
Hive!
on the way. Oh god, no! The Hive is exposed!
We were wondering why he was upgrading his 3rd.
The Viper!
It's taken out just like that.
The Hive is gonna go down. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to rebuild in the main base. Which is where it should have been. Shaking my head.
Yeah, a little too cocky here when it comes to the positioning. It feels like the writing is on the wall, but then I look back at the supply light and Wanted actually not far behind.
Go Vipers have energy. Let's go. Blinding Clouds.
Blinding Clouds are so valuable right now. Do we see some parabombs? We do see some parabombs. And a lot of the army is being absolutely crushed right now of XY. Wanted is going to have to give up a lot of his supply too. But I feel like this is better for him in the end. For Wanted, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to take stock after this because, you know what? He did not clean up the army. XY, he escaped with a lot of his BCs. The Thors are still here in the middle of the map as well. Wanted just lost his hive, lost a base. The worker count is still looking relatively good. The gas income is not. He needs to take his fresh gases as well. There we go. They're on the way. But XY, he is, mate, he's going to be moving out soon. Again.
He is. He really is. He might not have been able to remax, but he has been building reinforcements this entire time. He has been building up. He still has a very intimidating force right now.
Oh yeah, and so the only thing that I want to say for Wanted is that thankfully XY doesn't know about the fresh bases. He hasn't seen the bottom right, and he hasn't even seen the top left.
Yeah, that he has not. That he has not. And yeah, Wanted is just still doing little bits and pieces here to try to make sure XY can't have as good of his economy as he wants to.
Ooh.
But it's not going to be enough. GG is called, and XY ties up the series sideways 2-2.
Yeah, we have a Hellion run by there. 20 plus drones go down. The counter keeps going up.
How many of them died? Yep.
The Blue Flame Hellions were just too damn good. GG. We're going to an ace match.
That we are. I'm gonna conclude that. I do have a request light. After I do the intro, I do kind of need to use the bathroom.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
But, I mean, yeah, we'll wait.
You can do it once we get into the lobby, actually. Sorry, once the game starts, I should say.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I did want to bring up that we're being updated by the Brazilians that there are actually 4 Ronaldos.
4?
4.
Oh my god.
And there's also a Ronaldinho.
They're multiplying, mate.
They are. My mind was blown when I found out there were 2. Now I'm learning that there are 4.
Shaking my head, shaking my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this ace match. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be Blackburn, but we'll see. We'll see.
True, this will confirm what the vetoes were. I assumed that Blackburn and Pride were vetoed, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm assuming Pride and we had Heartwire already, didn't we?
Did we?
Did we?
Did we?
Did we have Hotwire? We have Leningrad, we have Cluris. We didn't have Hotwire. Okay, so I'm gonna guess Pride of Altaris and Hotwire.
Ah, well. Unfortunately, they went for the boring vetoes because Ace Match will be on Hardwire.
Lame. Lame. Guesses are ready. XY is ready. Wanted says go go. We will be jumping in.
Let's
and
go.
that will be 2 seconds.
Go for it, mate. Go for it. But yes, I hope everyone in the chat has been enjoying themselves. Honestly, I'm really surprised by the wide breadth of kind of play we've seen from these two players. You know, XY, he's gone for a more passive bio-tank style. He's gone for an aggressive, just multi-drop. We've even seen mech from this guy, and we've seen it work as well. So XY, what can he do? At the same time, Wanted has been trying to adapt here. You know, he's been going Lurkers, he's been going Brood Lords, he's been going Roach Ravager. We are seeing it all. And we'll see how it all ends, how it all comes to an end here. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Chinese Terran player himself representing Invictus Gaming. Team IG. It is XY. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Chinese Zerg player himself. This madman has been teamless for quite some time, but regardless, he is going up here. He is here in the qualifying match, in the Ace match, up against a veteran. Can he do it? Can he be one of the few Zerg players in the main event? It is Wanted. As I just refreshed the bracket, we do not have an update yet. Silky and Rewhite, as far as we know, their series is still ongoing, so we do not know the outcome. We do not know if we even have a single Zerg player in that main event yet.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Oh, as yeah, I was just regaling the chat, telling them and letting them know that, mate, we've seen a lot of variety in this series alone. Yak, what haven't we seen yet? What would you like to see, other than, of course, like Cheese and Proxy?
Well, we haven't seen. Okay, let's parse this out of the possible unit compositions and styles that we have from Terran and Zerg. So from XY, Thor Banshee. Okay, wait, you said other than cheese. You said other than cheese. From XY, I guess,
You're like, you know, Proxy Ghost?
Yeah. Yeah, you said other than cheese. I guess from XY, a Widowmine heavy composition. That's something that has been missing, but that's also because Wanted hasn't gone for Mutalisks, at all in the series.
Yeah, that's the other thing that came to mind, is that Wanted hasn't gone Lean Bane Muta at all. Which is a little bit interesting. We've seen everything else, right? We've seen Ultras, we've seen Lurkers, we've seen Broodlord Infestor. So we'll see if this is going to be the map for the Mutas.
And they may as well, you know, complete the bingo card. We need to subconsciously influence them to go that direction. Be like, hey, Wanted, you know, it's a player whose name is Demi. He makes Mutalists, you know.
He does. You know?
And meanwhile, XY, you know, I heard that your opponent, you know, he's going for Mutalists. You know, I want to make some minds.
We'll see what he decides to go for. As so far, the openers are looking pretty standard from XY, especially going for that third CC before starport.
Yeah, very economic coming up from.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I do want to apologize if there are some dropped frames here. It seems as if the Chinese server is not enjoying my connection at the moment. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I guess another thing we do notice about the Chinese clients and the Chinese server is that it is at least at the later times of the day, is a little bit prone to some latency there.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because like geographically we're pretty close to China, but and I assume this server, especially compared to like US West or something like that. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it just can't handle too much load at a certain time because it's not as active. So when like everyone's online, like for DreamHack, maybe it has some issues. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Oh boy. But yeah, hopefully everything kind of clears up here. As we do see Wanted just slowly going in here with his Overlord to confirm. And yo, this time we see Cloak.
What? That's the one thing we were missing from XY.
And he gets scouted.
Doesn't he get scouted? XY is trying to hide his Banshee, but was just barely too late. They will be turning around with that, and yeah, Wanted will be a lot more prepared for the Banshees.
Mate, the reads though for XY to blindly go into these Banshees, but before even the Banshees were scouted, we had a Roach Warren thrown down. So and with of course Banshees being the ideal unit here to go up against that.
Yeah, pretty much the only way to consistently attack the Roaches without, you know, risking your own units there. You're like, Liberators are way too easy to walk across. I'm sorry, Liberator fans, but that's the truth. BCs, I am a BC boy myself. They take way too long to build.
Yeah. So Banshees are the ideal, you know, that's kind of what you want. So we'll see if Wanted commits. Like, just because he has the Roach Warren doesn't mean that he has to go into Roach Ravager. You know, he can, you know, just transition into Ling Bane from here if he so wishes. I'm just waiting for the second upgrade.
Yeah, once the second Evo Chamber finishes up, that is going to tell us everything we need to know. I'm calling melee.
We'll see. Meanwhile, I was just quickly checking. Cloak did finish as both Banshees are meeting up here outside the main base. We're going to dive in and one-shot some workers. What do we have here? We do have 2 Queens and a Spore, so Wanted should be okay.
You say should.
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 We have confirmation. Yo, he is getting range.
Yeah, I gotta be committed a bit more to the Roach composition. At least for now, it's never too late to switch into Hydras and the Lurkers. Well, arguably there's a point that's too late, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. It is arguably too early to tech up right now. If Wanted were to do that, he's just leaving himself wide open to a tank push from XY, which he is building up to.
Yeah, we do see more tanks on the way. The first wave of medevacs as well, which of course XY is going to be waiting for before he decides to move out. And these Banshees like have been great for him so far. Sure, he hasn't gotten any kills yet, but he has been maintaining an eye on the army. He was able to confirm the tech as well, and keep his opponent back at home. Meanwhile, speaking of staying back at home, not for much longer.
Yeah, he's just waiting for that Nidus to finish up here for potentially the upgrades to finish up as well, but yeah, he wants Wanted is mad, man. He is angry that his Nidus was denied in the previous game because of all the Yamato cannons.
Mate. Oh my god.
He wants to make it work.
Yeah, meanwhile the Ling run by is here. The wall currently is on the wall. Instead he goes for that third CC, gonna be trying to force the cancel.
Thankfully, the Banshees do turn around and they are able to chase away the Lings. Meanwhile, XY, his push still on the way, but here comes the Overseer.
Yeah, the Nidus into the main base is going to be real. At the same time, the Ling run by does run into reinforcements. They are going to get cleaned up. The Roaches are a little bit preoccupied here, but after the defense, they can just go straight across the map.
Well, if they're alive, that is. As very nice scout here from XY. He is able to shut down the Nidus regardless, and yeah, XY has sort of realized, wait a minute, my opponent is the one who wants to attack. I may as well defend.
Yeah. A wise choice here from XY. He does turn around. He will come back here. Meanwhile, Nidus is going to finish up here outside the third base. Just another massive reinforcement point. And Wanted still trying to get into the main.
One tank here to catch Niduses if need be. And of course, it's a very smart thing to do here as a Terran player is once you have it sieged up, you're also not going to accidentally all-army hotkey it or anything, but it does mean that there's one fewer tank in the front lines.
That there is. At the same time, the Roach Ravager is knocking on the front door. Banshees are going to be doing a little bit of damage, but the Queens are here as well.
Yeah, no creep though, so they can't really transfuse. There is a decent amount of anti-air available. The biles are starting to land! A lot of Marines are going down, but so are some of the roaches.
Yeah, exactly. XY, he has to fight within tank range. He actually dives on top of the queens, and he's going to be able to get almost every single one.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that, you know, there is no creep, there is no transfuse potential over here, but I feel like tunnel vision a little bit too much on those queens. Now the roaches are breaking in, 20 SCVs have been taken out. He's keeping on, he just keeps going. He reinforces this point.
Yeah, I think that's just crazy what you just said. 20 SCVs fell, which means XY had 82. So Wanted had to get some worker kills here. He was far behind in those workers. We do see him droning up now. The attack has ended, satisfied with the damage that he's dealt. And XY, getting his 4th up, and yeah, now we can just calm down, and Wanted is in fact going for those lurkers.
Yeah, bring it back to basics here, or I guess the textbook style of playing as EVT.
Yeah, again, it is kind of the natural transition from Roach Ravager. In an ideal world, Wanted enter the game then and there, but of course he does have to pivot away from this. Still has a lot of Roach Ravager and still has to clear up some supplies, so is going to be headed towards that 4th. Uh-oh.
Yeah, has to be careful not to sacrifice too much too quickly, as there are 2 tanks here in location. The Biles should be able to deal with that, though.
Oh, yeah, the tank goes down immediately. The Planetary will be able to hold on for the time being. At the same time, the double drop into the main base.
And another Titus. So the upgrades are way in favor of XY.
The Hydrogen!
He's able to clean up those links before they can do anything. He snipes that Hydrogen, denies the group spines, and then kills the Lurker Den. That was not a cancel.
The infestation pit, like, he's just getting everything, mate. Aye. The medevacs get taken out. There's only 1 remaining here, but he just turns around. This drop has done so much.
Yeah, all of these roaches were in the Nidus network, but the Nidus Worm did get shut down once again. So XY, he's just run away with all of these victories, these little victories that are stacking up.
Exactly. We did see a couple of Hydras finish in the end, but there will be 0 lurkers. Infestors are on the way, but there's just not enough on the ground to keep this base alive.
Yeah, this is one final desperation push here from Wanted, and maybe if he's able to isolate the tanks, he might be able to win the engagement, but he is unable to do so. That is not the reality we're living in right now.
Yeah, it's like, maybe if he isolates his tanks, they're not isolated, mate. God, they're with the main army. XY is pushing on forward. This game went all the way to the A-Smash. Wanted tried to end it early, but just barely couldn't do it. And mate, that drop was absolutely insane. It's going to be far too much. The tanks are going unhindered. They take everything down.
So many tanks shelling away at the Zerg army all at once. GG is called, and XY will be the 3rd Terran player in the DreamHack Masters Valencia China main event, taking out Wanted, who looked so good for so long. That was an accident. I did not mean to hit it twice, but it feels fitting. It feels fitting.
There you go. GG, well played to XY. Again, we started off shaky. Game 1 was not close. Game 1, Wanted was looking dominant. And then something weird happened, you know? Like, XY just turned it all the way. Yeah, he just woke up. You know, he was like on autopilot. And yeah, like, from that point onward, it was like a completely different player. Obviously, Curious Minds was really rough. That was very map dependent. But every other map, XY was in complete control. Oh.
It really was. And honestly, even after game number 2, even though XY won that game, I really thought that Wanted was still the favorite player in that position. And then after game 3, that solidified it in my brain. I still almost can't believe that XY was able to turn that around so much and was able to take that series, but it was well deserved from XY here, proving that, you know, somebody, just because he's not a camel doesn't mean he's not a veteran.
Oh my god, exactly. XY, still a dominant force here in the region, will be a part of that main event. Meanwhile, my condolences to Wanted. Despite how good he did look, it just barely wasn't enough to take down that vet. He came close though. I was very impressed, and I hope we are able to see Wanted in future seasons, and I hope we are able to see a Zerg player, period. As do we have updates on the other series?
We do!
Oh!
Silky has taken out Rewhite 3-2 and will be the lone Zerg player in the DreamHack Masters Valencia China Regional.
Mate,
Mate.
Papa bless, mate.
Papa bless.
Silky makes it through. Also a series that went all the way to the ace match. Very close between Silky and Rewhite. And, you know, we're kind of fans of Rewhite. We have casted him plenty of times here. But at the same time, I appreciate that we will at least have one Zerg in the main event.
Oh yeah, he is going to have to weather all of the side storms and all of the nukes. There are so many Protoss players, and there are a decent number of Terran players in that best of 8 group stage.
Yeah. Best of luck to Silky. I mean, at least he doesn't have to work on ZVZ, so at least that's one matchup off the table, and he can focus on everything else. And he will have a little bit of time because, you know, we do have around just over a week before said main event, before he has to worry about any of that. So yeah, just GG. Congratulations to all of our qualified players today.
Yeah, very nicely done. And of course, it is not the end for the CranKy Ducklings here. It's not the end overall either for the closed qualifiers. There's still going to be EU, there's still going to be Latin America, but unfortunately we will only be covering Latin America.
Yes. Let me just quickly check the calendar here, the schedule, if you will. It looks as if ESL Open Cup. I mean, they're also around the corner as well. But the DreamHack Valencia closed qualifier for Europe is in 2 hours. We will not be a part of that. We were contemplating it, but I need some sleep.
Yes, we really do.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired right now.
What is this? The fourth or the third tournament today?
Third tournament.
Third tournament.
We could have done four. We could have done four, but third.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be in 2 hours. And our next broadcast is going to be in 8 hours. Just under 8 hours is going to be DreamHack closed qualifier for Latin America. And that is going to be spicy. I'm going to be casting alongside Ducklings, and we are going to be covering our boys. Ryu, the CranKy Duckling himself, will be there. Tavo will be there. Jim Rising, Parker, Mike, Eggs, Deaden, and Master. Oh my god, all off memory. It's gonna be
double check.
It's gonna be an insane bracket, mates. I haven't even looked at it. I don't want to look at it. I want to go to bed, and I want to wake up, and then I want to see the bracket. And
you want to make a judgment when you're actually refreshed.
Yes, not when I'm half lucid, you know. But yeah, it's going to be an insane bracket for Latin America. We're going to have a wild time there. I'm sure the Brazilians are going to be there as well. Scar, Sinistro, we all need to see our boys go through.
Yeah.
And maybe some Brazilians. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there are 2 Brazilians there, Terran and Master.
I mean, that's another thing, you know. I know it's talking about a different region, but Terran, Deaden, he is a big kind of enigma as well. You know, has he even been laddering? Has he even been practicing? If he is in form, then he is actually... Yeah, like, if he's in form, then he is like a force to be reckoned with. If not, well then... You know, we'll see. You know, we'll see.
Hold our breath a little bit.
Yeah, looking at you, Sinistro. You know, how's your boy doing?
No spoilers.
No spoilers. But yeah, we'll see. Meanwhile, Yaku, thank you so much for joining me, not just for this broadcast, but also for Oceania. I know it can be brutal going back to back, and I know, you know,
and the broadcasts to come.
Yeah. It's been a brutal week, but we're almost there. We've almost finished up our coverage of the DreamHack qualifiers.
Yes. Slowly but surely, it's all come to a head. We again only have 2 more regions to figure out who is going to qualify for the actual main regional event itself, and once that happens, we'll get some brackets out throughout next week. They will be coming out, and yeah, we'll also be getting a schedule, and we'll be planning on how we'll be doing the B stream for the actual regional. It's coming back to me, like,
yeah. For those wondering, we will be the official B stream for DreamHack, the main event for China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Oceania. We do have that confirmed. That's all we can say for now. We will be the B stream for that. We won't be here on the CranKy Ducklings. We will be live on ESL_SC2B, the official ESL B stream Twitch channel. So we will be there. It does mean that, you know, we won't have the same kind of duckling flair that we have here. But you know, it is a little bit more professional. But regardless, it is going to be a lot of fun. It's always a great time covering the B stream there for DreamHack.
It really is.
And with that, yeah,
stream more than mainstream.
Whoa, calm down, buddy, calm down. With that, Yaku, do you have anything else you want to add before we head off for the night?
There was something I wanted to add, but now I don't quite remember it anymore. Yeah, my brain has gone full potato at this point, so
fair enough.
I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Yo, I just realized ARJ Skater's in the chat, and I know he did redeem a replay.
We had the Chinese client on, so we won't be able to access that replay anyway.
It's true. ARJ Skater will do it after LATAM, okay? We'll do it after.
Yeah, when you're actually awake. When you're actually awake tomorrow.
Yeah, we can't do another one. I'm sorry, ARJ Skater. We'll do your replay cast after. I promise you, we will do it. We will do it at some point. And yeah,
I feel kind of guilty because we've been holding.
I know
for like 2 weeks at this point. But, we beg for your understanding here.
Yes. We'll make it worth it. I'll try and get Kuro on.
That's true. You can redeem the group, please, as well.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Oh god. But with that, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Again, our next broadcast is going to be in 8 hours. If you want to tune into some of the VODs, or even tune into, you know, some announcements when we post, when we go live, when we post when one of our players is competing in a tournament, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We post whenever we go live, and all of those occasions whenever we sign a new player as well, as rare as that is.
Is that a sign to come?
No.
Is that a sign? No. We're signing someone.
No, we got Migs, alright? We're good with Migs.
We spent all our budget on Migs.
We spent all our money on Migs, mate, alright? Oh, God.
So if you want a new player signed to the CranKy Ducklings, !Patreon in the chat, consider dropping a sub here. All the revenue we get from the CranKy Ducklings channel here goes back to being able to host our events, first and foremost, and then secondly, be able to sign our players and support our players monetarily as they continue to improve and continue to grow.
Yes. It is all thanks to you in the chat, or our supporters in the chat, that we are able to make that happen. And yeah, it's we just do whatever we can to support the StarCraft community as best we can, while we can, I should say. And
while we can,
while we're still
before we're all dead,
before we kill ourselves casting too much, Yaku, before that happens,
before we exit this plane of existence.
I'm ready to exit it. I'm ready, Yaku, take me. And yeah, check out our YouTube channel as well. All our VODs are posted onto YouTube as well. A couple of days after the event is actually broadcasted. In 7 hours, the first VOD of the Open Qualifiers is going to be uploaded, so be sure to stay tuned for that if you want to tune into it. And
it's going to be uploaded even before LATAM.
It is.
Yeah. It's going to sleep for about 1.5 hours. That's one REM cycle. And it's back to cutting the VODs.
I'm actually not going to go to bed right now. I'm actually going to go and edit some VODs. Then go to sleep.
There we go. And then wake up and then upload the VOD. And then cast. That's the schedule.
So what's your... Bye!
Bella.
とう。
Ronaldo.